Hello and welcome to Math 127 Online. My name is Eric Hutchinson. I'll be your instructor for this term. Normally this would be a face-to-face class. I would actually go through the syllabus on the first day of class, but since we don't meet in person, this is a 100% online course. I thought I would do this with you via video. And so you should be following along with the syllabus. The syllabus I posted in Canvas, and you also should have been emailed a copy of the syllabus. So as we go through this video, please follow along with the syllabus. I want to take a moment to go through some very important things that you need to know to get started for this class, what books are available that you need, and so forth. So please follow along with this video. I'm going to give you some important information that you need to know to be successful in this class. The first thing is my contact information is here in the top. My office is in the H building. It's on the West Charleston campus, H building, room 101, office C. It's in the same building as the math department, West Charleston math department. So my office hours are posted on here, but usually I'm here past my office hours. You can always call my office phone to see if I'm actually here on campus, and you can come meet me. I'm also going to have some hours in the walk-in tutoring lab, and I'll have those posted. I'll send you an email when that's going to be, if I don't have that posted already at this point in the semester. And so the best way to get a hold of me though is by email. And so email, I usually get back within 24 hours, but often less than that. I check my email several times throughout the day, even on weekends. So if you have any questions at all about the class, how to get signed on, materials you need for the class, any questions like that, please feel free to email me if your questions have not been answered as a result of going through this video. And so you can also email me through Canvas, or you can use my eric.hutchinson@csn.edu address that's here as it says in the communication link. Keep in mind that through Canvas is where I'm going to post all the official class announcements for this course. Any kind of announcements are going to be posted only through Canvas. Now Canvas can forward your email address to forward mail to any personal email address that you have set up, so make sure you have it set up to an email address that you check regularly, because that's where all the official announcements are going to take place through that. What I want to tell you about is the website that we have available for this course. So under website there's a direct link there, or the easiest way to do it is open up any search internet browser and just put in Eric Hutchinson, and then make sure you put CSN afterwards. And if you do that, the very first website that'll come up will be this one that you see here. Make sure you put CSN in there. If you don't put CSN, then you're going to get Eric Hutchinson, the singer-songwriter. And although that's a more interesting website than mine is, it's not going to help you very much for this particular course for Math 127. So anyway, make sure you put the CSN in there as well. Now when you go into that website, on the left-hand side, you're going to see some buttons. So you want to go ahead and hit Math 127 DE. And when you do that, when you hover your mouse over that button, you're going to see a drop-down menu. And that drop-down menu is going to have some links. And so besides the link to the syllabus, it has a link to notes and videos. Now that is going to give you the lecture notes and video lectures for every single section that we're going to go through. So all the sections that we cover are on this page here. That's where the homework is listed for the objectives. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's going to tell you the sections that we're covering. It's highly recommended that you watch the video and read the lecture notes before you start doing the homework. The homework that we're going to be doing online, that system itself does have some notes and tells you how to do it, but the notes that I've created is going to be a little bit easier for you to follow along with and understand. So make sure you watch a video and look at the notes first before attempting the homework. Besides that, I also have a test review button that's there, and that's going to give you some sample exams and also a list of review problems, and it's going to also give you a video playlist of me working through every single problem on the sample test. The problems that you're going to do online look slightly different than what we're going to do with paper and pencil tests that we do in this class. So that's why I provide the sample exams for you to be able to look at, and so you know kind of how the questions are going to be worded on a regular test. So I actually give more variations and what problems will actually be on the test, so you have plenty of practice to go over when it gets closer to a test time. And so all that is available for you as well, all the exams and the final exam as well. So for course description, this is a class on trig, so it's going to be analytic trigonometry, triangles, vectors, those kind of things we'll be talking about in this class. You can also read the course objectives that talks about solving trig equations, parametric equations, and so forth. So you can take a look at all that's going to be covered in this class. So the prerequisite for this class, the prereq, is Math 126 with a C or better, or you could have placed into it with the ACT scores. The required materials for this course is one of the most popular questions I get asked all the time. What do you need for this class? So it's listed here under required materials. In this class, I don't require a physical textbook. I require it's called an ALEKS 360 student access code that goes along with the book, Pre-Calculus First Edition by Julie Miller. And this can be purchased either from the bookstore, or you can also purchase it online as you're going through the online registration instructions that are attached to the end of your syllabus. Now, for those of you that may have had 126 last semester or within a year, if you used ALEKS in a previous class, you don't have to buy another code. If you bought 52 weeks of access originally when you took 126, that possibly would still be available now. If it's within a year, you may not have to pay for the book. So if you took Math 126 within a year, and you had it with a teacher who used ALEKS, and you bought 52 weeks of access, then it's likely that you may not have to purchase another code here. But if you haven't had a teacher that had ALEKS, or you haven't used ALEKS before in a previous class, then you have a couple options. You can either purchase the 52 weeks of access, or you can also, there's a purchase when you go online. There'll be an option to purchase only 18 weeks of access, which is slightly less money than the 52 weeks. There's not a whole huge amount of difference there, but those are your two options for this particular course. At the end of this paragraph where it says required materials, you'll notice that there is a code down there, and that is a financial access code. What this allows you is 2 weeks of free access. So if you're waiting for your financials to come in order to purchase the actual book itself, this will give you 2 weeks time where you can actually get into the system and do your homework in the meantime while you're waiting for financials to come in. Once the 2 weeks are over, it will ask you to put in a regular student access code. You'll have to purchase that and pay for it at that time. But until then, you'll be able to use this 14 weeks of free access. To sign up for, when you do it, you want to go to the end of the syllabus and follow these ALEKS student registration instructions. You'll need two things when you enroll for this, and this is something that you should be doing right away this week. Okay, you'll need the 10-character student class code. The class code is up here at the top. So at the top here, it's actually listed in two places. For step number 2, it's listed in two places there. That is a class code that's listed on the syllabus. So you want to put that in, and you also need a student access code that you either are going to purchase from the bookstore or directly online when you sign up for ALEKS. If you don't want to pay for it again right now, you can use that financial access code and put that in, so at least you can get registered and start using ALEKS right away. So that is the only required material. Now this system, where you're going to be doing your homework online, it also includes an ebook. So you don't need to purchase the hard copy unless you prefer to look at something as a hard copy. That's going to be available for you there. So that is the only required material for this course. Okay, now let's talk about what calculator we need for this class. So in this class, any kind of scientific calculator is fine, but when you take your exams in the testing center, you are not allowed to use a cell phone. So you can't use a calculator app on any mobile device. You have to use a standalone calculator, and they will allow you to use that in the testing center. And so I did put a recommendation down here. I put the TI-30X Multi-View. It has pretty print and everything else. Now if you have a graphing calculator, I do allow you to use that in this class. You don't need to purchase one for this class. That's a little bit overkill, but for the few graphing problems that we do in this class, if you already have a calculator and you like to use it in a test, then that's fine. So The material covered, you'll be able to see on the syllabus what material is covered. I want to talk about the homework in here, ALEKS objectives. Now, I just talked to you about how you get registered with ALEKS and what registration instructions you want to follow. When you get done with all those instructions and log into ALEKS, it's going to take you through a tutorial, and it's going to give you a tutorial on how to enter problems in the class, homework problems and things like that. You want to go through all that first. Then once you get done with the tutorial, then it's going to ask you to do what's referred to as an initial assessment. Now, the way this homework program works, this is called an adaptive homework system, which means that it gives you homework based on your weak areas, on information that you don't know. It's going to give you problems on that. Now, maybe some of you guys might have had this class before in a previous semester or from high school, and you might remember and retain some of the information. It's going to see how much of that you actually retain and know. Now, when you take this initial assessment, you're probably going to see a lot of problems on there that you just don't know how to do, and that's perfectly fine. Don't worry about that if you don't know how to do the problems. You should not try and get help on these problems. It's just assessing how much information you know coming into the course. So if you don't know how to do it, there's actually a choice that says, I don't know, or you can take a guess on it and see what it is, what the answer is, but mainly what that's for is to see how much initial information you already know. And it'll build the homework assignments based upon how you do on that, and it'll give you homework based on your weak areas. So it'll tell you out of the total number of topics, things that we're going to learn in this class, it'll tell you how many topics you already have some knowledge going into. So you do want to take that test immediately this week, because you're not going to be able to start doing the homework questions until you finish that initial assessment. Now, once you get done with the initial assessment, then it's going to take you to the homework. Now, whenever you log into the ALEKS, after you've taken the initial assessment, once you log in, on the left hand side of the screen there's going to be a kind of a blue bar over there, and it's always going to tell you which objective you're working in and when it's due. There's a button that says Continue My Path. As long as you click on the Continue My Path button after you get done with the initial assessment, it'll take you to the homework set. But if you log out and log back in to get back to that homework assignment again, just click the Continue My Path button, and that'll take you directly to the problem that you're working on. So every week there is an objective that is due, and so in here there is a list of objectives that you're going to see every single week. It'll tell you which objective is due, it'll tell you the due dates and all that, so that'll tell you exactly what objective you should be working on, and it will tell you the due date on that as well. So as long as you click the Continue My Path button, that ensures that you're doing the correct problems for this class. Now, depending on what kind of skills you come in, each student's going to have slightly different problems that you're going to be working through, because again, it's adaptive. It gives you problems based on what your skills are, what information you have coming into it. And so just keep going through that process, Continue My Path, and as you go through, what you do is you're going to finish a problem. It'll tell you you finished a topic, and so the topics make up goals, and so at the end, once you finish all those goal topics, it'll tell you, great, you finished objective, whatever the first objective is, objective 1, and then after that it'll automatically move you to the second one. So you are allowed to work ahead with these problems, but there's always going to be a minimum amount that you're going to have to do every week, and that's going to be listed here in the list of objectives that you have. So that's how homework is done in this class. So basically, your grade in the homework is what percentage of those goal topics that you finish every single week. So let's say that there's 16 goal topics for the first week, and you finish 8 out of 16, that means you've completed 50%, and that's the grade that you would get in the grade book after the due date. After the due date, you're not allowed to go back and finish it. So you have to make sure that you finish it all. So as long as you take the time to work through all those problems, then you're guaranteed to get 100%. If you finish all of it, all the problems in the objective, you'll get 100% in your grade book. Don't wait to the last day to do all these problems. That's a lot of problems that are in here. So you don't want to wait to the last day to do it, because you're going to spend hours and hours and hours working on it. It's better to actually do it in smaller chunks throughout the week. So maybe spend an hour or two each day working on it, however long it takes you to get through. So don't put it off to the weekend. Make sure you try and get in there at least a little bit every day throughout the week, so that way it's not so much that you have to do at the very end. Okay, let's talk about the exams. There's going to be 3 exams that you're going to take in this class. Now each exam has a window that's going to be open, and the dates are listed here in the syllabus. The exams are usually open from Monday through Thursday unless there's a holiday on a Monday, and if there is, then the exams will be open that week from Tuesday through Friday. But you always will have 4 days to do the test. The tests are going to be available at the testing centers, so at all 3 of the main campuses. And they're open, the hours they're open is listed in here, but usually it's open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 7:30, and then Fridays are open from 8 to 5. Now the testing center is starting to transition into an appointment-based system, which means that you're going to need to make an appointment in order to take the test. And in order to make an appointment, there's instructions that you're going to follow. Now I'm going to email those to you guys, so be watching your email, and I'll tell you when the first test is going to be available for you to log in and make an appointment. I'm going to put the test, it's basically an online scheduling system, so you follow the instructions I'll send you and you go in and make an appointment for the test. You have to make an appointment at least 48 hours in advance. You want to do this as soon as I post the test and send you the instructions. You want to go in and make an appointment as soon as possible, so that way you can get the time that you need. Now if for some reason everything is all full, they do take some walk-in appointments, but keep in mind if you do walk in, you might need to wait a long time because they take the appointments first and then walk-ins they do afterwards. So in order to cut down on the wait time, go in there and make an appointment. I'll send you the instructions for that. And you can make an appointment at any of the 3 campuses. So I have it set up on those. Now for those of you that live outside of Las Vegas, who maybe live near Mesquite or Moapa, I do set up tests at the Moapa location over there. I've also set up tests for those that live over by Nellis or live on the Nellis Air Force Base. So I do set up tests at those locations as well. If that applies to you, send me an email before the week before the test and let me know, and I will send the instructions to those centers. Now if you're not going to be in Las Vegas the week of the exam, you need to email me, and in that case, if you're not going to be in town for the exam, then we need to set up a proctor outside. So you need to still take it in a proctored environment. You cannot take the exams at home. It has to be done at a testing center, and so in that case, you can send me testing information for whatever location that you're near, and it's your responsibility to find a testing center or find a college or university in your area that proctors out-of-state exams. But if you're in Las Vegas, you have to go to one of the 3 main campuses, or Nellis or Moapa. Those locations are available for testing. And so once you make an appointment, you'll just go there and take the exam. The testing center, the tests that you have there, tests 1, 2, and 3, that's going to make up 50% of your overall grade, and your ALEX objectives, that makes up 20% of your overall grade. These are paper and pencil exams. So again, to review for these, as I mentioned earlier, you can go to the website and you can find sample exams. So that'll be an idea of what the exams will look like. A lot of times the sample exams, I use the same instructions. All I do is I change the numbers, so you have an idea what kind of questions are going to be on there, and you can do that to prepare. Now in this class we also have a comprehensive final exam. Comprehensive means it'll be an exam covering everything. That's going to be the last week of this semester. So the dates are also listed on here. There's 4 days that the final exam is going to be open. And again, like the regular test, you have to take it at a testing center in a proctored environment. And so the final exams were 30% of your grade. For the final exam in this class, I do allow you to use a 3x5 note card, both sides, for notes, and the testing center will allow you to use that. So on the regular exams, I don't allow any notes, note cards, nothing's allowed at all for the exams. Only a calculator and a pencil is all that's allowed there. But for the final exam, I do allow a 3x5 note card. Next, we're going to talk about late assignments and makeup work. In this class, I do not offer makeup exams or late work or any extra work besides the objectives that are listed. So at the end of the semester, if you're asking me, is there anything more that I can do to increase my grade, the answer is going to be no. At the end of the semester, that's it. So I cannot just offer one person extra work and not somebody else. It wouldn't be fair to the rest of the class. So to be fair to everybody, I'm going to say that there's no extra credits, no extra assignments that you can do in this class to bring up your grade. The exams are open for 4 days. If you fail to take the exam during that 4-day window and you fail to contact me ahead of time regarding making alternate testing arrangements, then you're going to get a 0, and that's going to stay. I do not offer any makeup exams. I do not offer extensions on the test or the homework. That's the policy for this class. Speaking of work on tests, I'm going to talk about standard of work next. Now, when you do your work on the test, you should follow the work that's similar to the way I do it on the sample exam, and you can kind of follow along with my video what kind of steps that I show. If you got stuff all around over here, stuff written on the side like this all over, and I can't follow your work, then I'm going to take off points. When I grade exams, I'm not just looking for the right answer. In fact, the right answer is only part of all the credit you're going to receive. Majority of the credit you're going to receive from the problem actually comes from the step-by-step process that you show, because that's what I'm testing on, is the step-by-step process, not just the answer at the end. So if you have an answer and no work that's shown, you're going to get almost all the credit taken off for that. If you do it all in your calculator and show no work, I'm not going to give you full credit for that problem. So make sure you try and show as much work as possible, because I do grade on partial credit. I want to be able to give you as many points as possible. If you don't know how to do the problem, at least put some work down, show some work, so you can at least get a point or something like that for at least attempting and trying the problem, as long as the work is kind of somewhat in the ballpark of what you should have for the problem itself. So I do grade on partial credit on all the exams. Now, next thing on here, I want to take a moment to talk about the difference between a withdrawal and an audit. Everybody always asks, what's the difference between the two? Okay, if you, at the end, somehow, as we get into the semester, you're finding that you just don't have enough time to finish everything, and you like to avoid having a bad grade on your GPA, you can drop or audit a class, and then that will not affect your GPA. Now, here's the difference between the two. If you do a withdrawal, that means that you're no longer enrolled in the class, you're no longer participating, it's done, it's over. Now, the other option that looks better on your transcript, and what I highly recommend doing instead, is an audit. Now, if you do an audit, what that means is that you can still participate in the class, it's just that you won't get a final grade. Your grade at the end will be an audit. So it will still allow you to keep going on with the homework assignment, keep watching videos, and have access to the class. If you're going to have to take the class over again anyway, you might as well keep on continuing and try and get as much out of this class as possible before the next semester. So I highly recommend doing an audit. It also looks better on a transcript anyway if you do an audit. Now, there is a difference in the way that you do audits here at CSN. If you do withdrawal, you can do that online in the My registration system there. However, if you do an audit, you have to fill out a form and take it to the registrar's office. So there is a little bit different procedure. You want to look also at the dates that are in here, because it gives you deadlines for when you want to do a withdrawal and an audit, and sometimes they're not the same dates, sometimes there's difference. So you got to take a look at the syllabus, and I'll tell you when that deadline is. So after the deadline for the withdrawal and an audit, then I have to just give you whatever grade is listed in ALEKS at the end of the semester. So speaking of grades, the grading scale is listed on here, and I do grade with a plus or minus system in this class. So it tells you all the exact cutoffs. For a solid A, you have to get over 92%. And also, one thing to point out in this class is I do not give a C minus grade. The lowest for that, the grade that you can get in order to pass the class, you have to have a 70% or above. So 70 or above will be a solid C in this class. And so again, I don't give a C minus. Everything, it goes down to a 70% is where the cutoff is there. The grading formula is in here. It shows you exactly how ALEKS does your grade calculation. That's there. And of course, overall grades are given with teacher discretion. Now, the rest of the stuff on here I'm not going to go through, because you can read this on your own. It talks about the different policies and different things. But the last thing I'll touch on here is the Center for Academic Success, the tutoring centers. There's a walk-in tutoring lab that's offered on all 3 campuses. I highly recommend that you take advantage of these. This is a free service. You can just go in and you can just do your homework in the to Tutoring Center. They have computer labs available for you, so you can do your homework there, or you can bring a laptop if you wish and work on it there. There's Wi-Fi available, and there'll be tutors there to help you with your problems. So if you get stuck on a problem, then you can have a tutor help you. So I highly recommend taking advantage of that because it's a free service. It's offered on all 3 campuses. They're open usually Monday through Saturday, depending on what campus that you're at. The hours are going to vary, so you want to go to the website that's listed here. It'll give you the most current hours for this semester when they're available. So please take advantage of that. And of course, if you don't have a computer at home, you need to do these problems online, then you can utilize one of the computer labs that are here on campus. So they're offered on all 3 campuses. We have great computer labs available here too if you want to do your homework here on campus and don't have access to a computer. Well, this is all the information I wanted to go over. If anything changes, I'll send you an email and let you know and give you an update. But I want to wish all of you a very great semester, and please, if you have any questions, feel free to email me.